Good afternoon. It is lunchtime in the Steelhouse. I'm trying a different filter. It's kind of funny actually, but I thought it would be kind of fun. So I'm actually gonna turn it off. It's just distracting me. Sorry. So I wanted to come live, and I'm doing it this way so maybe I can just throw it on my YouTube page because I'm finding that time-wise it's easier if I do multiple things at once. So I am sharing a quick lunchtime tip for you guys. And if you're here, drop in the comments, let me know that you're here so that I know who's watching and where you're watching from. I would love to chat with you and catch up. And share your tips and tricks too on your cooking favorites, the things that's your least favorite. Just share with me all of your delicious lunchtime recipes, thoughts that you have about it. But today I thought I would share that I'm making salmon chowder, dairy-free salmon chowder. So what I'm doing today is I'm using the Instapot. So you can see my Instapot is here. And this is literally going, oh, hi, Sandy. I would bring you on video, but I am trying to just get this quick cooking video out. I would love to have you on. So let's hook up later, message me, and we will definitely bring you on next time. So today, we're going to go ahead and turn on the Instapot feature to saute. And then it doesn't really matter on the time because I'm gonna change it to 20 just so it stays that way. And I'm gonna hit pressure cook. I'm gonna go ahead and start the saute feature. And then I'm gonna show you what things we're going to use. So we're gonna go ahead and use olive oil today to saute our veggies. And it's beeping because it's telling me that it's turning on, so it's making me aware. I don't know why I would use the saute function for anything with the lid on. That kind of scares me to saute something with the lid on. So if you have done Instapot with the saute lid feature on, let me know how that turns out or what it does. And if I could only see your comments, I don't know why I can't. It says I can write comments. Sorry, my 3-year-old's in the background making funny noises. I don't see any comments now, so I've got to change a feature. So if anybody is excellent at Facebook Lives and why I can't see people jumping on in features, hey honey, sweetheart, can you not do that while I'm doing this live? I'm cooking. You want to come help me? Usually that's how I get him to be quiet. So we did about 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil. And we're going to take, let me show you what we've got. I'm actually going to let that heat up just a minute. It only takes a couple minutes. So we have our carrots. There's celery underneath the carrots. And then I have peppers. So I think the peppers came from my garden. And I think it's a sweet pepper, but what I did was I planted sweet green bell peppers and shishito peppers in the same bucket, or not bucket, but flower bin, and now I didn't mark them, or I had them marked and my 3-year-old pulled them out, so you know how that goes. So who knows, they taste different than sweet peppers. It almost has like there's like a spice or something, or bitterness, I don't know what it is, but it tastes different. So that came from my garden. The carrots did not. And then I have celery underneath. I always use my old celery for when I'm making soups because it has more flavor. Hey, sweetheart, just until I'm done. Give me like 2 minutes. He does this every time I go live. It's not going to happen. He's just going to be in the background. So this I'm going to put in first. I've got 1 full leek, which let me show you what a leek looks like. I cut off the top of this, but the leeks are, they're dark green on the top, and then they have they kind of look like a giant scallion or like a giant green onion, but it's called a leek. It's less carbs than a regular onion. If you're tracking carbs, I mean, sometimes I do, but right now I'm not. But they have a sweet yet spicy flavor. And then I also did a regular sweet onion. So 1/4 of a sweet onion, 1 full leek that I chopped up. And you need to make sure that when you cook your leeks, you have to cut them lengthwise down and rinse them. And then make sure all the sand is out because they actually plant them in sand. So I'm gonna take all of it looks like a lot of onion, but it's really not. The leeks kind of chop up fully, but it's fine. So now that this is warm, it's been on for about maybe a minute to 2 minutes. We're gonna toss that in there. So you can already hear it sizzling. So this is really all the ingredients. Everything that I have out right now, I have celery, carrots, and peppers in 1 bowl. All my onions, which are leeks, and sweet onion in another bowl. And sometimes I add a little more, like this looks like it needs just a tiny bit more. So this is probably more like 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Can you guys see that okay? Since I'm not... This is the first time I've done a cooking video live. It's kind of fun. So we're gonna just kind of let that cook for a minute, and I'm gonna show you the rest of what we have. Meditating. Anybody want to meditate? Green pepper, carrot, and celery. And then I have chopped up golden potato. I think that's what they're called. Golden potato. It's usually, or is it Yukon Gold? Yukon Gold. I have those diced up in this. I couldn't fit it all, so it's in both. And then I'm going to use, I like to use chicken bone broth, so sipping chicken bone broth. And then season-wise, I really only do salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. Oh, here's my other pepper. Salt and pepper. And then I am gonna do a little bit of, where is it? I don't see it. Well, I guess we're just gonna do dried parsley because I don't see the other one that I wanted to use. And I normally would use fresh parsley, but I don't have any right now, so I'm just gonna use dried. So normally I'd do like a 1/4 cup of fresh parsley, but instead I'm gonna do probably a half to a full teaspoon of parsley. So we're letting this kind of cook down a little bit. Can you see in there, or is it just steaming you out? And I love the Instant Pot because this soup is really gonna make in like, by the time I cook, like 10 minutes for the actual soup part, and then I throw in my salmon, which I haven't gotten out yet. I already pre-chopped it. I made everything pre-chopped, so it would be really easy for you guys to just see the quick video. Can you close that for me, babe? So I've already chopped up my salmon, cubed, and I chopped up all my veggies so we could just have cooking time. So this is like true cooking time. This doesn't include chopping time. Now that that's cooked down, I'm gonna go ahead and take all my veggies and I'm gonna throw those in there. I know I used to come on live all the time to show you guys what I was cooking, and I don't do it anymore, so I thought I'd just come show you. Oh, the peppers are really strong in there. I think there's something about, and I'm adding a little more oil. It just seems really dry. There's something about cooking with fresh vegetables from your garden. The smells and the flavors are so different. Lovey. Hey, love. Not right now. Later. He's like, sorry. So, okay, now we see the color. So the way I base this off of is I kind of look at color. When the carrots start getting bright and the onions start looking kind of floppy, the leeks, that's kind of how I gauge how long to stop. Sorry, you were looking at my mouth. Not really good at both. I need a camera, guy, is what I need. So see how the carrots are really bright? That's kind of when I know that it's time to go ahead and pour in. Actually, let's use what we already have open. Just because I'm live doesn't mean I'm not going to be crafty. So I would show you my fridge, but I only have so many hands. So I'm gonna go ahead and use, I have about a half of this. This is the same thing that I already showed you, but I have about a half already, so I'm gonna use this first. I use an entire box of this, which this is 1 quart, which I think is 32 ounces. Yeah, 32 ounces. And we're just gonna pour that in there. And the reason it looks thick is bone broth. The sipping broth is a little thicker because it has a little more fat in it. And we won't talk about that right now because that's too detailed to go into. And it's also cold. So when you open chicken bone broth and then you put it in the refrigerator, which it's been in the fridge since yesterday, it kind of, see, this one's warmer, so it's not as thick. So I'm gonna pour half. That's probably about half. And then once we have the full 32 ounces or 4 cups in there, we're gonna go ahead and stir that all around. And next, we're gonna go ahead and add our potatoes. So potatoes. And if you don't have one of these chopping things, you need one. If you do cooking, it makes life so much easier. Look at all those potatoes and how great they look. And normally I would rinse them off, but like I said, I'm making a quick lunch. I wanted to have some soup. I know it's 100 degrees outside. It doesn't matter to me. I love soup regardless. So I'm literally what are we, like 5 minutes in, I think. And that's only because I didn't preheat my Instapot. So my cookbook that's coming out soon actually has everything sorted. So I'm really excited to be sharing that with you guys in the near future. So everything's stirred in. I should have showed you guys. Ooh, that almost fell. How funny would that have been if I would have dropped my phone into my soup live on Facebook? That would have been funny. So as you can see, there's not a ton of liquid. Vegetables will always give off their own liquid while they're cooking. I feel pretty handy here. So I don't measure anything, but when I tell people how to cook stuff, I measure it and then I tell them. I taste it and then I'm like, oh yeah, this is about what it is. So I said I use fresh parsley, normally about a 1/4 cup of fresh parsley because it breaks down a little more, but dried parsley, I'd probably do about 1/2 teaspoon, 1/2 to 3/4 teaspoon. And then we're gonna use a teaspoon of salt. Actually, you know what? That's the other thing that I forgot to tell you guys. When I cook potatoes in the Instapot actually will bake in the salt into the potatoes. So when I do potatoes in the Instapot, I do not add my full amount of salt. So I will only do part of it. I normally would do half, but this time I'm only gonna do 1/4. So this is a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then I'll add the remaining 3/4 of teaspoon after. And then I'm gonna add pepper, because otherwise potatoes soak up the salt and then it just tastes really salty. So that way it gives you an opportunity to taste it. So I did about 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. Oh, I didn't put garlic in. That's like my favorite thing to add. Hold on. Normally I would saute the garlic in. I think it's gonna be fine if we just throw it in there. Hold on, I gotta put you guys down. Just a second, because I can't open the lid. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put in about 1/2 teaspoon of garlic. I always just have minced garlic on hand. I don't really have time with kids and everything and jobs to mince my own garlic, and I don't feel offended by it. So that's it, you guys. So once I allow this to cook for 10 minutes, I'm gonna put the lid on. Hold on, I should flip this so you guys can see it. I'm gonna put the lid on, so do you hear it? I'm gonna turn this off because we're not sauteing. I'm gonna make sure that this is in the closed position. So you have venting, which means that the steam is coming out, and you have closed, what does it say? Sealing. And then you have this little red indicator, so this will pop up once it seals. And the other thing that I do, let me just show you real quick because it's important. Sorry, it's already steaming. So this seal around the edge, I always make sure to check mine before I put the lid on, because I wash it too, like I'll pull it apart and wash it. But you want to make sure that this is in the appropriate position, because that is what seals the Instapot for cooking. So you're going to stick it on. You'll hear it. Close it, then close the sealing button. I'm going to pressure cook it for, 10 minutes. And that will cook the potatoes. Why did it, oh, sorry, I changed it, my bad. Change it to 10 minutes. I don't have to hit anything. Now, it's set. I haven't done Instapot in a long time. So, now that that's done, when the potatoes are done cooking, so that will take probably about 15 to 20 minutes to heat all the way up to pressure, seal it. This little red thing will pop out. It will tell me that it's sealed and cooking, and then it will only take about 15 to 20 minutes for those to heat up, cook the potatoes, and then it will click off and say it's done. Then you have to release the steam, which doesn't take much. I usually quick release, so I basically turn it off. I cover it with a towel. I know this sounds so silly. I cover it with a towel, like a kitchen towel, and then I release the steam so that it doesn't burn anyone, because I have kids and who knows who walks by and thinks that they're just going to stick their hand over it. You know, I have all boys, so they have to like test things. So just to recap, we sauteed leeks and onions. I should have put garlic in then too. Then we threw in carrots, celery, and green pepper, sweet green pepper, and we sauteed that for a minute. And then we added our chicken broth, the sipping chicken broth. sippin' chicken sipping bone broth, which has more protein in it too. Each of these has 9 grams of protein in it, which is pretty good actually. That's why I buy it. I love it. It's from Costco. And then we had the 4 golden Yukon potatoes after we put the chicken broth in. Potatoes, then we added partial salt, all of our pepper, parsley, and then once everything is done cooking, we're going to add in our half pound, I'm sorry, I think it's about 1.25 pounds. Probably a pound. It's probably about 1 pound of salmon. In fact, I could tell you what it is. 1 carrot, 1 celery with celery lid. Lid? That's not what I meant to say. Where's my weighing machine? It used to be in this bottom drawer. The food weigher. The kids put the dishes away and then I can never find anything. So anyways, it's about 1 pound. Yeah, it's about 1 pound. So 1 carrot, 1 celery stick with leaf, 1 green bell pepper from the garden. That's about this size, which is like, I don't know, the size of my ear. It's small. And then I did 1/2 teaspoon of garlic and 4 cups of chicken broth, 4 Yukon Gold potatoes chopped, no peel, they're not peeled. Some of them were peeled because they had little spots that were bad. And then I closed it in the Instapot. After I sauteed the veggies, then I added the potatoes, closed it in the Instapot. It'll cook for 10 minutes per Instapot time, which really full time is like 15 to 20 because it has to heat up and seal. This little thing will pop up when it seals. And then after it's done, it will, I will natural release it. I'll put the towel over it, open it, turn it off, then put the towel over it. I actually usually unplug it just to be safe. And then once you do that, you open it up, add in your salmon, and then I don't even cook it. So like I'll put on 1 minute for a pressure cook, but it doesn't even take that long. I don't like my salmon to be overcooked. It needs to be like just perfectly cooked. And so if you do 1 minute on the Instapot and then turn it off and then natural release, it's perfectly cooked. So, and there you go. Oh no, after I add the salmon, I'm so sorry. I almost forgot the most important part, which may be in the garage. Oh no, it's right here. Coconut milk. So, organic coconut. This one's light. I normally buy the regular fat, but I bought it just to try it. So after you cook your salmon in the Instapot, you're going to add a full can of coconut milk with fat, and that's what's going to make it creamy and delicious. Then, actually, before you add your salmon, if you want it to be thicker, I make this 2 ways. Before you add your salmon, you can take I'm drawing a blank, the little hand blender. There's a name for it. I can show it to you. But I use it for like smoothies, for blending salsa. Why can't I think of the name of it? This thing goes on this little hand blender. What is this called? Why can't I think of the name? I don't know. But you take this little hand blender, has this little thing in there, and you blend the potatoes a little bit with the rest of the veggies and stuff so that it's a little thicker. Then you add your salmon, then add your coconut milk, and then you'll have a really hearty, just comfort food. It's like one of my favorite comfort soups, and so it's really simple. And I think if I wasn't talking to you guys, it would probably have taken me, I think this only took me about 15-20 minutes. With cooking time, it probably takes about total 30, and if you already have everything cut, maybe 20 to 25. 30 to 40 if you still have to cut and are talking on live. So, I can't see any of your, it says swipe left to reveal comments and reactions, but it's not showing me anything. So if you're out there, I'm so glad you joined me. Thank you so much for joining me cooking salmon chowder with coconut milk. It's basically dairy-free and pescatarian. Thank you for joining me today. If you've watched all the way to the end, hashtag replay if you're watching this on the replay, hashtag I made it if you're making it because you want to try it. It's so delicious. If you like corn chowder and you like salmon, you will like this. Actually, next time, I think I might add corn to it to make it sweet. That's the other thing that I do when I am done, after everything's cooked. I add just a tiny sprinkle of stevia powder. Looks like this. It's just like a little white powder. And you just, it's very, very light. You can buy it from, I get mine from Natural Grocers. Better stevia. I use it for a lot of things, like plain yogurt. I put some sweetener in that. So there you have it, people. Super easy lunchtime goodness, and it's like just warm comfort food. And yes, I know, Oklahoma people, that it's 90 degrees outside. I realize this, but I eat soup no matter what temperature it is. I love soup. So I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for joining me. Drop in the comments if you have your own recipe to share. If you are on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. If you are on Facebook, I have a Facebook page where I've done previous cooking videos in the past. I'm actually getting ready to pull all my videos and put them into my YouTube page so it'll be easy for everybody to find them. Fit-Ovation, health, wealth, and what is it? I changed it to something, health, wealth, and happiness, I think is what it is. And I just love to have fun, show you guys what I do, how I make food for my kids. My kids love everything that I make. So, and they can vouch for that. I'm not just saying it. So, thanks so much for joining me. We'll talk soon. Have a great day. Bye.